In this video, we're going to be talking about the concept of lateral thinking and how it's introduced to me by this amazing book, Lateral Thinking by Edward de Bono. Be more creative and be more productive. Now, lateral thinking is creativity, but more practical. And this definition has really transformed how I view creativity as a whole. So instead of thinking about creativity as more of magic, it's more of a science to me now. It's more, I know how I can reproduce it. I know why this is creative. It's totally viewing me in a totally different angle. Like, if a person has never seen a car, they'll see magic, wow. But really when we see a car, just, it's another car, it's science. We know how it works, kind of. We know how it works, kind of. And it's also had such a fantastic output on my brainstorming sessions when I need to rethink and muse over something. And whether if you're an entrepreneur or a content creator or a creative of any kind, I think adding this book to your toolbox will be extremely effective. And it's really such a fantastic tool to have around you, especially when you're thinking or need to dive into a subject. And one of the interesting concepts it talks about is how logic doesn't always lead to results. In the book, there's two types of thinking. The author talks about linear thinking and lateral thinking. Linear thinking is where you use logic to find out an exact conclusion. Now, that's very common, that's very good, but it has certain limitations. For example, if you have a perfectly logical train of thought, and then suddenly there's a new variable, the variable can't fit, because your thought process is already logical. Or when you make so many assumptions that they limit how your thinking goes. Now, lateral thinking is where you temporarily suspend belief and judgment to explore an idea completely. For example, if I said to you, what if the clouds weren't made of water? The clouds are made of water, but pretending they're not, and really exploring the idea of what if clouds were not made of water, could lead to new innovation about how clouds work, how the weather works. We're exploring uncharted territory. That's creativity. And really, Sherlock Holmes uses this concept when Watson asks him what he thinks of a particular case. Sherlock Holmes says, well, I mustn't make any conclusions before I reach the case, before I look at the evidence myself, before I see everything laid out. Then the conclusion will come to me. Another fantastic concept books introduced to me is being blocked by openness. You can be blocked by an open idea. For example, imagine you're on a road trip, and you're tired and you're hungry, so you see a McDonald's right in front of you. You're like, whoa, McDonald's. But McDonald's down the road is pretty far. It's like a small thing in the distance. But if you had looked to the side and pretended the McDonald's wasn't there, you would realize there's better restaurants all around you. You were blocked by a direct McDonald's that looked close, that looked open. That's how you can get blocked by openness. And it's also helped me in really brainstorming. Brainstorming is a fantastic way to get amazing insights, and in the book it shares a bunch of fun ways you can make it better. So some fun ways to brainstorm better is to really suspend judgment, to identify why you're judging things and what you're judging about. Because each judgment, even though they may be right and completely right, it's a matter of exploring uncharted territory. And a common one most would know is getting different points of view from different perspectives to really analyze the subject, getting multiple people in a brainstorming session if possible. And same thing with judgment, we need to challenge our assumptions, identify our assumptions and why they exist. Every assumption we can eliminate is new concepts and new ideas waiting to happen. And finally, the word "po." The word "po" is a fun word that the author invented in the book, where it talks about a word in between no and yes. It's kind of like, no, yes, you're right, but let's pretend you're wrong so we can explore the subject. Instead of just saying, no, you're wrong, or yes, you're right, we're saying, no, but let's think more. Let's get more out of this conclusion. And really, if you think this book is interesting and you might want to read it, I just have to say that it's quite, in my personal experience, it's slightly less easier to read than the other self-help books. Not by a lot. It's just quite old-fashioned. It's written in the 1980s, and the content itself is delivered in a quite an old-fashioned way. The content itself is really solid, and the puzzles and the riddles and the ideas itself are very solid, and you should really give it a shot. Now, this is my genuine recommendation. I don't have any affiliate links. I'm not making any money. But if you want to go find the book, just go on Google, go find it somehow. This is the book. You should be able to find it. It might have a new cover at this point too. And I'd rate it a 7 out of 10 just because of the way it's delivered. It's not in the newest way, it's not in the most readable way, but it is still pretty readable. And yeah. So I'll be making a bunch of more book review videos in the future. If you're interested in that, subscribe. But that's not my goal. Ultimately, my goal is to make self-development videos about entrepreneurship, growth, learning, and document my own journey and the lessons I've learned so that I can help you and help myself achieve more goals so you can see how I do them. And if you're interested in that, subscribe as well. And if you subscribe, you'll be able to see me in a future video. Bye.